Later today, we should get a closer look at how the state is handling the coronavirus outbreak. Here in Indiana, we're still waiting to see when the state will hit its peak. So far, there are more than 4,900 positive cases for coronavirus. 139 Hoosiers have died. Marion County has been the hardest hit county with more than 100 cases. About 40% of Indiana's cases are people between the ages of 20 and 50. With the state now preparing for a surge in COVID-19 cases very soon, several stores are looking to make some big changes in order to slow the spread. Matt is live for us downtown to talk about what they're looking at right now. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Alyssa. Good morning, everyone. Stores right now really encouraged to continue to promote that buy online, pick up in store option, even curbside delivery to really help stop the spread and really have as few people as possible inside the stores, especially those stores that are essential and that are open round the clock. Information on your screen shows more now about the stores that are considered to be essential that are allowed to be open right now. That includes those stores selling food, including pet food. Pharmacies are also in the clear, along with auto dealers and repair shops. Hardware stores, office supply stores, and gas stations will also remain open. All retailers are to limit the number of customers in the store at one time, and that's new starting this week. Now, if you have questions about what types of businesses are considered to be essential, as well as some of the hours and qualifications, you can find out more information on our website, WTHR.com, here, as those requirements now go into effect starting today. Ben.
Yeah, really good to know. Matt, thank you very much. And lots of concern in Madison County now after a coronavirus outbreak at a nursing home has left 11 people dead and dozens of others testing positive. Bob Reed's brother Bill is in a local hospital with pneumonia and symptoms of the virus. He's waiting for test results to tell him for sure if he has it. Last week, Bill was released from Bethany Point Health Campus after doing rehab there. Reed said when his brother was released, he had no symptoms. Now Reed is worried his brother won't make it home.
With him having diabetes, lung problems, he's a perfect candidate.
Now, they also released a statement saying in part, quote, "This is an incredibly sad and difficult time for these families and for our entire Bethany Point family and community. We express our sincerest condolences to these families and to all loved ones of those affected by COVID-19.
Here in the U.S., the death toll has topped 10,000. More and more hospitals are now bracing for even more new cases of COVID-19 and even more deaths. Those on the White House task force are now making a desperate plea.
It is on us as a member of this community, of this country, to do everything possible to save one another.
While President Trump has been taking some heat about an inspector general's report on equipment shortages at hospitals, the president is also brushing off some criticism about the continued unavailability of coronavirus tests. Japan is ready to declare a state of emergency for several major cities, including Tokyo, as they try to stop the coronavirus. More than 3,500 people have tested positive and 85 people have died, and the numbers keep rising, particularly over the spread in Tokyo, which has more than 1,000 cases. And British Prime Minister Boris Johnson remains in intensive care at a London hospital after his coronavirus symptoms got worse. Right now, he's conscious and does not need a ventilator. Johnson was admitted on Sunday, 10 days after being diagnosed with COVID-19. Many of us are trying to get into the cleaning habit of wiping everything down. But what about some of your devices? Meredith is live from her home social center this morning, talking about making sure you keep those things clean. Good morning, Meredith.
Hey, good morning, Alyssa. Yeah, people reaching out to us asking, how often should I be wiping down my phone or my keyboard? And a recent study just came out that said 37% of Americans never disinfect their phone or have only disinfected their phone once or twice total, which is not good. Reaching out to people on Twitter, hearing back from Rick Shelton every day now, he wipes down his technology. It used to be one time a week. And Jeremiah saying, as a first responder, I'm decontaminating everything constantly, starting to run low on disinfectant products, but we're going to improvise. And that's what we want to tell you about today is there is a way to make a home disinfectant. What you're going to need is a spray bottle. You're going to fill it with a third of the way with 70% isopropyl alcohol, which would be like rubbing alcohol, a third with vinegar, and a third with hot water. And this will be safe to use on your technology, but you want to make sure you don't spray it directly onto the surfaces.
Really, the effectiveness of your disinfectant spray is how long you keep it wet. And so sometimes what we end up doing is what you can do is take a towel and just kind of leave the towel wet and just leave it on there. And that's going to effectively help with stuff too.
And we're hearing too from you guys asking, have any studies been done on the UV lights and the coronavirus? And actually, yes. And Brian spoke a little bit about that with me. But UVC light can kill germs. They work best on smooth surfaces, but they do have limitations. It's a light, so it can't get down into the nooks and crannies of things. But Brian was telling me that what they do is they'll use the UV light on things that you can't throw into the washer. That would be maybe an iPad or an iPad cover or a laptop case, stuff like that. Please reach out to us with how you're cleaning. If you have any tips or tricks you'd like for me to share, you can do that using the hashtag 13sunrise.
Yeah, such great tips there this morning, Meredith. Thank you so much. We'll see you in a bit.